I was talking to your agent, John Tobias, and he was telling me, and I think you signed with him at like 14 years old.
Yeah, I think something, 13 maybe, because it was at my, I remember 6 men in suits coming to my Junior French Open qualifying.
Right, and that's something that agents apparently don't go to. And he said it was, he even felt awkward sitting there in a suit. But so you signed with him 13, 14 years old, whatever you are. He said he would have bet his house that there was no chance you would have ever been number one at 18 years old. And obviously, not only do you prove him wrong, but you're number one for 2 consecutive years, which I think you're one of only maybe 7 players ever to do so. Why do you think you ended up being able to do it and do it at such a young age?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't expect myself to do it in such a young age either. You know, I think everything just went so fast, and I moved up the rankings so fast. And yeah, I think again, I had good hands. I had some really good runs, and all of a sudden I was playing, and I knew that if I won a match against Petra Kvitova in Beijing, I'd become number one. And I was so nervous going into that match. And
you were.
It was my biggest dream to become number one. I knew I was so close, just 1 match away, and I ended up winning, and it was such an emotional time for me.
And he said you were playing better tennis players, but you were winning because of your confidence. Agree?
I don't know. I mean, I always think I'm the better player when I go on court. You know, I mean,
even then though. I mean, even when you're this like 18-year-old kid.
I've always, you know, believed in myself. When you go on court, I always believe I'm better than the other player.
Well, that's confidence, even if you aren't.
It is definitely. But you know, I think if you don't, you've already lost beforehand. So there's no point in going out there. You know, you can't. You have to believe in yourself. You have to, you know, have the belief that the work you've put in, that's going to pay off. The
2010 China Open, the first time you became number one in the world. What do you recall from that?
It was, I couldn't even describe the feeling. I was playing again Petra, and I went out to that match. I was feeling so nervous. At the beginning of the year, I didn't expect myself to be in a position where I was fighting for the number one spot. And Vera Zvonareva was, you know, breathing down my neck, and I knew that, you know, either one of us was going to be number one. And she kept winning. She always played matches before me, and I knew that whoever of us would go further in the tournament would capture the number one ranking. And she kept winning and winning, and I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? You know, like but I knew that if I win, I think it was my semi-final match against Petra, then I would at least have it for 1 week. And when I won, I was like, this can't be true. It can't be true that already by now I have one of my biggest dreams come true. And we had this big cake and champagne and everything there. It was amazing.
How cool was it celebrating on court with your dad after that?
It was amazing. You know, my dad kept telling me, you know, you're number one in the world. This is what you always, you know, dreamed of. This is what you were aiming for growing up. And yeah, it's kind of hit me at one point. I think after the tournament, I was like, oh my God, this actually really happened.
So you pretty much immediately get global endorsement deals after that. How does life change on almost like the business end after being number one? Becoming number one?
It changed a lot for me. And I had so many things both on and off the court that I need to remember. And, you know, obviously, when you're just a young upcoming player, you have all the time in the world to practice. You can do whatever you want, but you know, all of a sudden you have, you know, a lot of sponsors, you have commitments, you have things that you have to do off the court as well. And I think you always have to kind of try and find the time, but sometimes I would cut down on my training schedules just because, you know, it was too much. But at the same time, when I was then on the court, I would give it 100% because I knew that you don't have 4 hours. You know, you can't start off terribly and then, you know, kind of make up for it later. But, you know, that worked really well for me. And obviously I loved both the on and off court thing of the sport and my job. And I think, you know, it's a great place to be in.